From Fort Worth, Texas, it's Adrian Indelos.
Don't get me wrong, whenever I was in college and all I ate was white people food, yes, I miss Filipino food.
Representing Long Island, New York, it's Andrea Ordonez.
A professional since the womb. So...
This is the Unrelated Cousins Talk.
Welcome everyone to the Unrelated Cousins Talk, episode 6. We're on, right? Episode 6 now?
That's right, yeah.
This is our St. Patrick's Day special episode week thing.
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Happy St. Patrick's
Just
Day.
a disclaimer for
this
everybody watching this episode, we are 100% sober. Because I know St. Patrick's Day tends to be like the...
Speak for yourself.
Just
kidding. Just kidding. I had
but we are.
one beer. I've had one beer today.
One beer. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, because I was at a networking event because I was working.
Okay.
Well, not really working. I was taking pictures of a networking event. It was great.
One beer. Was it a real beer? Like a real Irish beer?
It was a real Texan beer.
Was it a Lone Star?
No, it was Shiner.
Oh.
Come on now.
I mean, Shiner, is great. Yeah, I love Shiner, but I love Lone Star too. Lone Star's very good.
Yeah, but Shiner to me is like, it's like orange juice. Like you just gotta wake up and have a Shiner.
No, I agree with you. No, I agree. I agree with that statement. It's very hard to find Shiner here in New York. You have to really know which bars to go to.
Yeah, which is why whenever I'm there, I speak I go there all the time. But whenever I was there in October, what did I have? I think I just had a Bud Light and then a whiskey Coke because you can't really mess up.
You had other things too. Let's recall on the rooftop of.
No, I did not spend $40 on a Johnny Walker Blue.
Yeah, you did. And I had a drink that, remember that drink you got me that it lit up or something?
It was science.
Yeah, and I kept telling everyone it was science.
Oh my god, guys, look, it's science.
Yeah.
It was, for our listeners and viewers out there, I ordered the birthday girl, Andrea. A apple teeny, but they dropped a piece of dry ice in there, which caused it to bubble, and it made science.
Was so cool.
Especially when you're intoxicated, it was great.
Anyway.
Do you remember the one thing that Maria? Shout out to Maria, if you're listening.
Maria,
do you remember the one thing that she was totally obsessed about during dinner?
Fries. The fries, yeah. Didn't she? I was removed from that because I think I was paying attention to something else, but then all of a sudden everybody was laughing. Did she tell off a waiter or something? Or she just told him not to touch her fries? No.
What had happened? I'm trying to remember. I think it was, we were ordering food. And obviously you're in, a very classy establishment. You're on the rooftop of, downtown New York and whatnot. And we're all ordering the salmon.
Midtown.
I mean, whatever. But it's we're ordering salmon, the filet mignon or whatever. And she's like, "Can I get fries?"
They were
just
truffle
want
fries, though.
I just want fries.
Truffle fries in my girl's defense.
Right, but she was like, we're all ordering fancy stuff, and she's like, I just want fries. And so that was a running joke of dinner is, I just want fries.
I just want fries. No. All right. Well, yeah. This week's theme is obviously St. Patrick's Day and St. Patrick's Week.
Absolutely, and the what do you call it? The subsequent or the
obvious correlation.
Is alcohol.
Hence these margarita glasses that I have on. But they're also green, so it's fitting, even though margaritas tend to be more for, Cinco de Mayo. But, I mean, I don't have beer glasses.
You can have... See, maybe in New York you can have margaritas on Cinco de Mayo. But in Texas we have, Cinco de Dia like 5 margaritas a day, and that's like normal.
Oh.
So
Yeah,
here,
no, I really shout out to Fuzzies back home in Texas because I love them.
Fuzzies is thebomb.com.
I miss it. Fuzzies.
And
anyway,
then-
I'm
and
going to
then
take these
Chimmy's.
glasses off.
And then Chimmy's in West 7th has probably one of the best frozen margaritas ever. It's kind of awesome. They have like all sorts of flavors from like mango, there's strawberry, and regular margarita flavor.
Regular. No, but okay, so what do you tend to drink on St. Patrick's Day? Do you drink on St. Patrick's Day?
Duh. I mean,
What do
I'm
you-
not
what do you
Irish,
tend
but I love me.
Are we sure?
I'm pretty sure my name is Adrian Indalos, not Adrian McIndalos.
That'd be really funny. But this
Or
week your
O.
name
Indalos,
is Adrian
whatever.
McIndalos.
Or O. Indalos, whatever. The Irish prefix. Anyways,
Equivalent, yeah.
yeah, as far as, I guess my go-to, I mean, green beer is definitely
Oh, that's
thing.
true.
In college, I I actually had a collection of St. Patrick's Day cups that the kids, they
Really?
would give you like little. It depends on where you go, but I had like a Coors Light cup that was plasticky and green. I had one that said, "Kiss me, I'm Irish," but then people take a look at me and they're like, "You're not Irish," and I'm just like, actually, on my great aunt's husband's roommate's best friend's college girlfriend's ex-boyfriend's side, I am.
That's funny. Here in New York, if someone were to say that to you, you could probably file a civil suit.
Probably, because we live in PC culture.
Because that's, yeah. Probably could, or you could just say diversity is a thing. Anyway,
Right.
so green beer, obviously.
and then
yeah.
Jameson. You gotta have Jameson.
I was literally about to say Jameson.
Gotta have Jameson on
Yes.
St. Patrick's Day. And
Very
then
nice.
Guinness. Gotta have Guinness. But see, the thing about me and Guinness, I love Guinness, but I've also had a bad experience with Guinness, and I'm very particular about my Guinness, because I can only...
Did they not pour it right or something?
No, it's not that.
There's
It's
a
I can
specific way.
I can only have Guinness on tap. I've had Guinness in a can, and it is
Who
so...
gets Guinness in a can? Ew.
My...
The only way to drink it is on tap.
Well, I had a Guinness in a can whenever I was like 16 years old, and my
Okay, that explains
my
it
dad
then.
gave it to me when we were on a family trip to like
No,
Detroit, and he's
that's
like,
not
"You want a beer?"
allowed.
And I'm like, "Yeah, sure, whatever." And then he gave me Guinness in a can, and I'm like, "This is absolutely disgusting." And
Yeah,
it was like
that's
tart.
not right.
It was tart.
The only beer that was so good that I drank in a can is Heady Topper, and that everybody knows you can only drink that in a can. But that's a discussion for another day.
I mean, or today. I mean, since we're talking about alcohol today.
Is that what it is? Okay, right now where I am at is, I do like to casually drink, not like go crazy with it because that's not right or appropriate. But yeah, after work I'll have like a glass of wine or like a glass of whiskey or something like that.
Because you're so sophisticated.
Mellow out. But I did have a phase, and I think everybody goes through this, at least in college, or maybe it was just me and some of my friends. But I went through a very, extensive craft beer phase. And
You
I
said
really like
craft beer or crap beer?
Craft.
Oh, craft
Like
with a T. Okay.
Arts and crafts.
Right, I get you now.
Yeah. So, I really loved craft beers. And there are a whole lot of breweries here on Long Island, including one called Long Ireland, which is
there you
wonderful. And I actually visited them 3 years ago for, fun fact, did I ever tell you that I took an Irish step dancing class?
You did not tell me that you could do the
Oh my gosh,
Irish
it was a
jig.
great class. Well, yeah, we did Irish step dancing, but also there was a cultural component, and so my partner and I, well, we had to do a class project, and so my friend and I did ours on alcohol. So we went to Long Island, and we got to look at their brewery. It was very cool, and on the weekends they have the bagpipe players come, and they just like, because a lot of these breweries don't believe in having TVs, which I think is a very cool concept, because then you go to a bar and like there are 5 or 6 TVs, and then you focus on the TVs, and there isn't a whole lot of conversation to be had. But we got to go to Long Island, and it was super great. They have some really great beers there, and they have some really awesome stouts too. I'm not really a fan of stouts because they get very heavy very quickly, but they had some really nice ones. Do you like stouts, or are you more of a IPA type of
Oh
dude?
no, I definitely can't do IPAs. I don't know. It's just the bitterness of IPAs. Not really my thing. I don't know. I've been doing a lot of blonde lately.
Ooh. Okay.
And also drinking a lot of beers. Just kidding. No.
Right.
Every now and then, like me and a couple of my buddies will get together and we'll drink off of West 7th or whatever. And there's this place that's now closed, which makes me really sad.
Aw.
But it was called Tap House, and it changed to Trinity River Tap, or it used to be called Pour House, and then changed to Trinity River Tap House, and now it's shut down, which makes me really sad. But they're one of the places that served Rar and Sons, which is a local Fort Worth, brewery, and
I've heard of them.
they're really really good. And I've had their Rar and Sons blonde, and it's just I don't know, it's smooth, and I don't know, it tastes really really good.
Right.
But to your notion earlier about if we went through a craft phase in college, I actually went to...
Did you go through one?
No, I went through a craft beer phase in college, as in, like, I was a freshman pledging in the wrong frat, and, we played beer pong with,
Right.
Your traditional Natty Light, Keystone, all the beautifully, cheap beer, watered down beer.
Gross.
And so, like, that was, like, a phase for, like, a couple months. And then...
So you were going through that while I was going through my craft beer phase.
I mean, that only lasted, like, freshman year. And then...
Oh, okay.
Whenever sophomore year came around of college and, I got a job at that point. I started working. I started making money. And so I could actually afford it, at least, like, Bud Light or something
Nice
like that.
beers.
And then whenever, like, one of my friends would come and
You
get
could
Keystone-
afford Bud Light.
Right, like a whole $1 more. Go figure. But whenever my friends
great.
would show up with Keystone, I'd be like, dude, seriously? And now I'm all about the Shiner and Dos Equis life. And Corona.
I love Shiner.
And Corona.
Yeah, they have a lot of craft beers here on Long Island. But then also I got to go to Vermont for a summer 2 years ago. And they are like experts with beers. And so one of the best beers in the country, and you can totally look this up, I'm totally not lying, is Heady Topper. And it's Heady Topper, and it's I believe it's a double IPA, but it doesn't taste like super as bitter as you would think. And it's meant to be, you're supposed to drink it in a can, and people it's so popular that the trucks from the brewery will go to certain stores once a week, and people will stand in line to get cases off of the truck, pay for cases off of the truck. That's how popular it is. Huh. So it's very good, but I'm not really in my beer phase anymore, or just I've been dipping into that wine phase that people go into, but I'm not fully there.
Oh, I have always been a huge fan of wines, and I've kind of read up on my wines, and I am a beer guy, but in social situations, I guess depending on how fancy the social situation is,
right.
And if wines are available, then I'll go to my wines. Since you're starting to get into the wine phase, what sort of wines are you into right now?
I really like Well, I really like rosés. I know that that's like not really the season for it, right? Well, but we're getting there.
Right, we're getting there.
But one of the like hybrids that I really like are framboise, and those are kind of like beery wines or winey beers. I don't know which way that goes, but I love framboise because they're sweet, but then they also kind of got that like hoppy thing going on. So I could drink like that all day, and like there's like not a whole lot of alcohol in it, so it's not like I become crazy. But yeah, those are the ones that I really like right now. I'm not too very much into reds, and whites make me sleepy, so yeah.
Gotcha. So, with me and my wine selection, I mean, I do have a very variable palate when it comes to different wines, but I mean, I have to stick to it with my reds. I can't go wrong with a Malbec. I mean, I haven't tasted a bad Malbec, but I prefer. I forget the name of the brand, but there's an Argentinian Malbec that I just absolutely love. But as far as like my favorite wine, and I mean, this could be, you could consider this a plug or whatever, but there is a red blend that I absolutely recommend to anyone. I mean, if you like red wine, or if you like anything that's like sweetie, almost not like, it's fruity, but it's not like white wine fruity. It's called The Prisoner. Have you heard of The Prisoner before?
That sounds scary.
But it is an absolutely wonderful wine. I'm gonna actually like look it up here.
Right.
But The Prisoner is actually it's an American wine, Napa Valley.
Okay.
But it is a blend of Zinfandel, Cabernet Sauvignon, Syrah,
fancy.
Petite Syrah, and Charbonneau. And the wine features cherry, espresso, and roasted fig.
That sounds like a lot of things going on.
It's so smooth, and my favorite part about it is that some red wines are notorious for aftertaste. This red blend leaves no aftertaste whatsoever. It's so smooth. You can drink it like water, and it tastes beautifully, and there's no like bitterness like after that. It's kind of amazing. Fun. So I would highly recommend it to anyone. Again, it's called The Prisoner, Napa Valley. You guys can look it up. You can find it at like, at your local, at most liquor stores, at least here in Texas. At wine, etc. That's where I usually go get my wines. So
fun times.
So
speaking of amazing recommendations, I recommend that everybody come to New York for St. Patrick's Day at least once in their lives. I'm just saying, it's a fun time.
It looks like a riot.
I mean, it's like, okay, we very much, I mean, we go all out for our culture. We did for Chinese New Year, because that a lot of Asian countries celebrate that. So it's also cool to see how, because I think when we talked about Chinese New Year, we talked about the significance of family and being together with your friends and stuff like that. And people do a lot of whole reckless things on St. Patrick's Day when you take the drinking factor in. But also, it's a family holiday, It's a very religious holiday as well, because its significance is pretty amazing. But, I mean, I really like St. Patrick's Day here just to see the community come together to celebrate a culture, and also, the Catholic Church, and how that is still significant today. But also, the parade here is a fun time. It's great.
But you do know...
here and in Hoboken.
But you do know that St. Patrick's Day is an American holiday, right?
Yeah,
like the
obviously.
Irish
but
from
I mean,
Ireland.
St. Patrick is not from Ireland. I mean, is not from America.
Right. But, like, the Irish in Ireland are like, it's St. Patrick's Day. Cool.
But here we go all out.
That's because like we like to make up holidays just to drink. Like this was the significance of Cinco de Mayo or whatever.
But is it really though? Because I think now it's becoming more than that. I think we like to think it's becoming more than that. The number of people who are protesting the lack of inclusion of certain groups in St. Patrick's Day parades like that, it clearly means a lot more than drinking. I mean, that's like the automatic thing that people like think about, but I mean, I also really enjoy getting corned beef and cabbage and green beers and being with my friends and listening to 80 million bagpipe players. Like, that's a whole lot of fun.
Right.
So, I really enjoy it. You should come here at least for one St. Patrick's Day, and you'll be like, oh, this is fun.
I mean, like, I've seen videos and stuff on, like, the internet, but I think, I don't know, one of my favorites, you mentioned bagpipes.
I love bagpipes.
I just, the Amazing Grace on bagpipes, I don't know, every time.
Oh my gosh! Or even Lord of the Dance on bagpipes?
Yeah,
no.
like every time those songs come on, I'm just like, I just feel so Irish. I don't know why. I just love bagpipes. And then there's...
Right? You can kind of get like a sense of pride going on.
And then there's also that one YouTube video, if you guys look it up, where a guy is shooting flamethrowers out of his bagpipes to Thunderstruck by ACDC. I thought that was sick.
That's so cool.
Yeah. And last year, actually...
Well, obviously...
on St. Patrick's Day, or was it on St. Patrick's Day, or was it just like a random day? But like, we were actually pub crawling out on West 7th, and all of a sudden, we see this Irish band just start like coming into Reservoir, which is, our little watering hole. But it's like this whole walking drum line, and it had like 4 bagpipes, and it had like a whole drum line, and they were like all Irish, and yeah, it was kind of awesome. We're just like, where did this come from?
That's so
But it was really cool.
But, do they go all out there back in Texas? Because here, obviously our population's a lot more diverse. So we've been having, just on Long Island, like every weekend this month has been a St. Patrick's parade. But they don't do that as often back in Fort Worth, right? I don't remember.
Not that I know of. I do know that there are places that go ham on St. Patrick's Day. And, obviously you look for the pubs that have, like, an Irish name to them. Like O'Shea's out in Colleyville usually has, like, a big thing. The biggest, what do you call it? St. Patrick's Day party or celebration I ever went to was at a bar in Arlington. I don't know if you're familiar with it, called Jay Gilligan's. It's right by UTA, sort of. It's like a couple blocks away from UTA. But every year, and I haven't checked this year if they're doing it, but every year that I've known, they usually block off like the parking lot and then like the places like next door. Like they just have a giant block party where they have like artists come in. And awesome. I don't know if it's them or some other place in Fort Worth, but they're actually having Pat Green come play because St. Patrick's Day, Pat, and then you wear green. His last name's Green. I thought that was clever. But yeah, so I was gonna ask you like, what is your most epic St. Patrick's Day?
Well, because imagine that. You just described kind of they close off, what is it, a block?
Yeah, it's just a giant block party, and you pay a cover and you get unlimited green beer, which is kind of amazing, actually.
Well, I guess imagine that, but then imagine a whole town doing that, because my very first St. Patrick's here in New York, New York/New Jersey, it used to be like, and it still kind of is a thing to go to Hoboken on, I guess it's like the weekend, even if St. Patrick's falls on a weekend or the weekend before, to go to Hoboken and basically, pub crawl. And so that was my first St. Patrick's here, and it was quite memorable. I remember one of my best friends.
Was it memorable
who I'm
or
gonna be spending,
unmemorable?
It was super memorable.
Okay.
Okay, first of all, it was memorable because it was before I turned 21. So I mean, so I was still making decently good decisions. What am I? I'm totally kidding. But like, yeah, it was before. So, but we had a really good time, and there were a whole lot of people, and that was the first time actually that. The first holiday that I saw somebody puke on the Long Island Railroad.
On the railroad.
And that wasn't me. It wasn't me. But, like, I mean, people say, like, that they see people throw up on the train all the time. But, like, that was the very first time that I saw someone literally puke on the train. And for some reason, it made me laugh. And it made me laugh for a really long time. I think I laughed, like... for 2 stops, which on the LIR is a really decently long time.
I wrote that, right?
So, right, yeah, it's for 2 stops. And, you know, like, once I start laughing at something, then I really just, like, can't stop for a while, because then it replays in my head over and over again, and then I'll just keep laughing, and then, like, I'll think that I'm done, but then it'll come back. And then I'll laugh again for another, like, 5 or so minutes. So that was basically what that was. It was a good time. And I remember watching this guy, like, puke while I had this ginormous green and white hat on. It's like a Dr. Seuss type hat. So, no, that was a good time. And then, I mean, there have been some other really great parties that I've gone to. But I always look forward to corned beef and cabbage. Love it. So
I can do the corned beef. I just can't.
Year.
Me and cabbage just don't. We don't mix well together.
Right. That's why you're Asian.
Right.
What about you? Most memorable?
I guess I don't know if it was memorable because I don't remember most of it. But I guess the most epic, I guess you would have to say, was actually it started off at Jay Gilligan's. I was my sophomore year of college, and I actually got a group of my old high school buddies together. It was me, Glenn, Travis, and Patrick, Ryan, right? And this is the funny part. It was like 4 of us, and then my friend Matt, who I met at UTA. He joined us there as well. And we started off at the Jay Gilligan's, block party. Again, unlimited free beer. Again, I wasn't 21 at the time, so you do the math.
Right.
And I found my way in. I won't say how.
Obviously.
And, I was pretty belligerent for a good while. And I think one of my...
Oh my gosh. Were all of you like that? Or were you just especially...
I think I was actually the most sober. Funny enough.
Oh, wow.
And we ended up prank calling Samantha Salza, which I've mentioned a couple episodes, and is a mutual friend of me and Andrea's.
Right.
And
yes.
Let's just say we prank called her, and one of the guys ended up like cussing her out and basically like ruining their friendship, like right there on the spot. It's great.
Does she know that you guys were
absolutely.
drunk, though? Not that that's, like, forgivable in any
but
sense.
Apparently, I guess not what he said. I don't remember what he said, but she stopped talking to him for a while because of that. But, like, the thing was, like, we were all part of it. Like, I was on the phone for a little while. Glenn was on the phone. Travis was on the phone. Matt was on the phone. Patrick was on the phone. And the thing that's funny is that now Sam is dating Patrick. So, I guess that was forgiven.
Funny how that worked out, right?
But, and then, like, the entire time, Patrick, I'm pretty sure he's Irish because his name is literally Patrick Ryan. And the entire time we're just like, was your Irish name Patrick O'Ryan? But, and then, so we started there. And then we somehow, I don't know if we, like, carpooled, if we taxied or whatever, but, like, we ended up going to this other Irish bar that had an Irish band playing, and it was just, I don't know, it felt a lot more authentic than Jay Gilligan's. Jay Gilligan's was like the redneck St. Patrick's Day, and then we went to this Irish bar, and it actually felt very Irish. I met some really cool people there. And I think I don't even remember how I got home. Did I even go home that night? I think I did.
Well, so quite epic.
Yeah,
then.
so that's my most unmemorable St. Patrick's Day story.
Right. That sounds like a fun time though, and you didn't puke on a railroad.
No, I think
that's also good.
I think I puked in a trash can though. Yeah.
Okay. That's when you know you're alive.
Yup, pretty much.
When you reach that point, right?
So, anyways, I guess we should go ahead and wrap up. So,
yeah.
Thank you guys.
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Happy St.
Patrick's Week. Make sure to wear green. Don't get pinched out there.
No, we wish you the luck of the Irish.
So thank you guys for tuning in to episode 6 of Unrelated Cousins.
Yes.
If you guys have any questions or suggestions for us to talk about, please, comment below or, post something on our Facebook and or YouTube page. You can also email us at unrelatedcousinstalk@gmail.com or tweet us at UC_talk. Obviously this week's episode was a lot lighter and a lot more happier than last week, but I'm glad that we got some good responses from last week's too. Thank you guys for showing Andrea some love.
I love you all.
And make sure that you subscribe to our channel. We put out new videos and podcasts every Wednesday. And other than that, Andrea, do you have anything to add? Any announcements?
No. Have a great week, everybody.
All right, guys. Well, we'll see you all next week. My name is Adrian Endelos, signing off.
And I'm Andrea Ordonez.
We're the best in the land. We're big in both Chelsea and France.